everyone. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to tell you about our initiatives. So as I was introduced, my name is Marius Jurgilas and I'm a board member of the Central Bank of Lithuania. Central Bank of Lithuania is a central bank, normal central bank you are accustomed to, but it's also a special one because in many jurisdictions around the world, central banks have various degrees and the breadth of responsibilities. In Lithuania, Central Bank of Lithuania is the regulatory institution for any sort of regulation regarding financial markets. So if I could give an example of, let's say, very well-known United States, we are the Fed, the FDIC, SEC, control of the currencies, the banking commission, all sorts of regulatory institutions in one. We are a small country. We try to make things lean here, and we have a very efficient structure. Why I'm telling you this? Because for newcomers to the market, it's very important to have one view of how the market will be developing, what is the view of the supervisor, what is the policy line, and we as an institution, we have the view of the market, we have supervisory perspective, we know what kind of regulations are coming, what are in place, how we also have a customer protection mandate, which means we also think of it from a customer perspective. And as we came here today to talk about the fintech industry, we identified that in Lithuania, we could be developing Lithuania as a platform for launching and running financial technology firms in the region, primarily in Europe because of the Eurozone, and maybe the rest of the world because the fintech industry is borderless. Do I have to explain to gentlemen and ladies here what fintech industry is about? Raise your hand if you are fully familiar with fintech industry. No idea. Fantastic. Well, I'll give you a secret. Fintech industry is nothing new. These are the same financial services that you are accustomed to, but provided differently, using new technology. You've obviously heard about the keywords like blockchain, Bitcoin, robo-advising, distributed ledger, right? These fancy terms. What these fancy terms mean is that with the advance of the technology, the way financial services have been provided can be changing. And the major change is that I can provide financial services to a customer who has never seen me, nor I have ever seen him or her. Okay? That means that the physical location is not important. Where are you based and where your business is. So that's why we as a Lithuania kind of branding ourselves as being between the East and the West. We see ourselves as a perfect possibility to provide a platform for those firms looking to serve broader market. So what do we have on offer and what is fintech industry about? Fintech industry is looking, as I said, for opportunities to have the reach. These are new firms that are entering the market and trying to provide services, the same ones, as I said, that you are accustomed to, but using new technology, and that enables them to provide that service in a better way, cheaper, and kind of in a, what should I say, with a better user experience. In Lithuania, we have a show called X Factor, In US, they have American Idol, you know, in other countries as well. And this is a show where people show off their kind of skills, right? Kind of singing skills. And if you look carefully, you know, kind of look at these shows, you'll see that it's not really the actor or the singer who sings the best that is winning, but it is the one who has the X factor. And in the financial technology industry, the X factor is the user experience. Why people start using one particular financial app compared to the previous service or the previous banking relationship? Because the newcomer is able to provide something that the customer is attracted to. You know, it's faster, has nicer colors. Okay, why am I telling you this? Because the user experience is not only important to sell the product to the customer, user experience is also very important in this industry from a regulatory perspective. These are young firms. Some of them have a very bright idea. For example, I'll give a particular example that we can start off. Without giving you names, there is a firm in Sweden. Are there any Swedish representatives? Good, so we can talk about them. There's one firm in Sweden which approaches online businesses who are selling products online and is telling them, look, whenever a customer is coming to your website and you know he clicks on the products that he likes, he selects the basket, and there's always this final step. It's called paying, right? You select everything, you click pay, and that's where you lose 2/3 of your customers. Why? Either the mean of the payment that the customer has is not accepted. Let's say he is from one side of the world, whereas the website is from the other side of the world, and they don't trust each other. Or they use some particular local payment method, like in Lithuania we use many kind of, without telling you names, local type of solutions. If an international firm wants to sell in Lithuania, customers are not accustomed to it. So the Swedish startup is offering such a service to online shops. It's saying, look, when the customer comes to your website, he selects the basket and he clicks on payment. That's it. He doesn't need to pay. I'll use the big data analytics, kind of the knowledge that I have about the customer from all different sources. His phone number, his previous banking transaction activity, to draw a conclusion if the customer is worthy, he has the buying power, and he can be trusted, and I'll sort it out later. But we now lock in this transaction, and I increase your conversion ratio, that's a term that they use in online business, 5-fold. So 5 times I increase the customers that you're getting, and finally are buying your product. And that's a startup. In Sweden, now it's worth a couple billion euros. So that type of fintech industries we're talking about. Usually that service would be provided by a bank or a kind of settlement transactions company, and you approach them, they give you a fee structure, you accept card payments, and for each transaction you pay 2%. This firm is doing that cheaper, is providing a much better experience for the customers, and also it's providing a very good business proposition for the online business. So that's one type of example of fintech industries. Another example from investment perspective. One particular firm who has approached us, they are targeting a particular group of people, which I think you can relate to quite a lot. It's people who live in a different country, expats. Usually these are people, who travel from one country to another country, right? These are normal people. You know, they have lives, they have families, and they have assets. They have investment type of expectations. But now they're in a different country. They're subject to different taxation, maybe some different investment decisions. And this firm is trying to provide financial advice for these individuals, wherever they are. So, they are based and providing services across all the countries. They are targeting these particular individuals, and they are providing automated financial advice based on local regulation to these individuals. You can say that any local bank can provide a better advice for these individuals, but because they know the kind of this international perspective of these people, where they are coming from, and they can track their progress across different countries, they can provide, they claim, better advice, which transposes into higher return on their investments. That's another fintech startup. What are these startups looking for? As I said, great ideas first. That's why we have a place like this, where, you know, it's called either incubator or fintech hub, where people with different backgrounds, IT, financial services, accounting, are mingling between each other and trying to come up with the next big idea. But as they say in US, for a good idea, right, you need to give me a coffee and $5. Implementation is everything. And when you try to enter and provide financial services to people, regulation, compliance, money laundering, things kick in. Things that a young individual who's eager to start business is not accustomed to. So he needs help, right? He needs advice. Do we have any lawyers here? Advice costs money. These are startups. Usually no money. You know, they are trying to build a viable product which they can showcase. Then they jump on the stage, they attract some seed capital, then venture capital, and the best thing that they hope for is kind of to sell it as fast as possible for as much money as they can. And this step is very important, that they know how to develop their product, that is compliant, that the regulator is happy, that they don't breach any laws, right? And that type of activity we call kind of hand-holding. And many jurisdictions around the world right now are developing these schemes called sandboxes. We have a similar thing in Lithuania, where we tell young businesses who don't understand exactly the regulatory environment, who have a good idea, but it's new to them, we tell them that for 1 year, you're operating in Lithuania, we'll be providing you advice, regulatory advice, and if it happens that when we inspect your activity as supervisors and we find something wrong, we'll tell you what needs to be done, how to fix it, but we will not fine you. That's very important for new businesses. That's one. In particular segment of fintech industries, we're providing payment services for products called non-banks. For them, it's very important to be connected to the financial infrastructure, kind of these big pipes that are running across the financial system. And in many jurisdictions, these new financial firms who are entering the market, they need to find a sponsor who would provide the socket that they can plug in to the financial system. I'm skipping many technicalities here. That socket usually is provided by a commercial bank. Commercial bank, at the same time, is an incumbent who is trying to protect its market. So here comes the newcomer, is saying, Mr. Banker, I'm trying to eat into your market share, please plug me in. You see the issue? So we in Lithuania, we find a legal regime that allows the financial innovative companies to be plugged into the system, surpassing the step of having a bank as your partner. That's a very important thing. So we are providing such service as a central bank to fintech startup companies. We have a sandbox regime, and we are holding the hand of the newcomers. So this type of user experience, as I was trying to tell you about, is very important to sell the products, and it's also very important to develop the financial industry. Why do we care so much about this industry? What's the reason? Is there an actual reason? As probably you are aware, or if not, I'll tell you in a second, Lithuania has a very concentrated financial system. 3 banks have 90% of the market share. Economy is predominantly based on cash transactions. We have the fastest internet in Europe. Mobile penetration is on top, but something is lacking. And the thing that we believe is lacking is more competition. And by doing this, by rolling out the red carpet, we're trying to entice more market entrants to the market, but we are realistic. We understand that such a small market cannot attract newcomers because, you know, banking business is not a very lucrative one if it doesn't have enough scale. So what we are providing is saying, use this as a base to launch your business, because we as regulator, we care about competition locally. You as a newcomer, you care about the scale. And we can provide both. Because financial institutions establishing in Lithuania and obtaining financial licenses from the Central Bank of Lithuania, they can passport their business in any European Union country. So you obtain the market of 450 million. You have a regulator who is eager to work with you. If you go to another jurisdiction who is much more advanced, you know, you will be kind of a scum on the ground. And we are happy to work with newcomers. I did not intend it to be a one-way discussion. If there are any questions, particular ones, or I can help you understand fintech industry, I would be glad to talk.
Yeah. I'm Ajay Bisari, Ambassador of India. I see in this literature Rise Wellness, and I see a unit in, I see a location in Mumbai. Could you talk about that? What does Rise Wellness do and how you linked with India?
Okay. Rise Wellness is an undertaking of UK bank Barclays. Barclays has 5 locations around the world where they established innovation hubs. One of the 5 locations is Vilnius. You can ask why Vilnius, why Mumbai? Several years ago, Barclays established a technology location in Lithuania where they outsourced a significant proportion of their activities to Lithuania. It would be good to ask for specific numbers Barclays representatives, but there are more than 2,000 people working in the building here, providing global banking support services for Barclays global activities. And the things I told you about the fintech industry, it is one of the biggest challenge for the banking industry right now. And the banking industry, faced with this challenge, they're trying to minimize the impact of the newcomers. One way is to deny them. Another thing is to lobby against them with regulatory measures. And the third one is to embrace them. Barclays is embracing them. Barclays is establishing an innovative hub and is telling newcomers, come, use our space, use our stage. We'll provide you the know-how. That's what they are telling them. But at the same time, Barclays sees what is being developed. And if they see something which is attractive to them, they take it and onboard as a major provision for their clients. So that is what Rise Vilnius is about, and that's why it is in Lithuania.
I don't want the next question also to come from India.
Why not?
My name is Rajendra Chaudhary, the Honorary Consul of India. I'm only accompanying the ambassador. I was seeing the latest figures of the population of Lithuania just the other day, and they say there have been 31,500 immigrations out from Lithuania, and I understand that bulk of the sector is from this kind of jobs where the requirement is much more. My two sons have a startup in America, and they have taken away IT experts from Lithuania to work for them. So I'm asking, does the fintech and all this, the big hub that you people have set up, is there a danger that people will be poached on regular basis, and how do you safeguard that to take your dreams and your vision forward? Thank you.
Thank you for a very good question. Yes, Lithuania is experiencing from this issue of emigration, and on top of that of aging, which is an issue I guess most of us have to deal with, at least in the western side of the world. And the way we see that is that we need to develop the industry which is providing highest value added with minimum labor input. Okay? Many Eastern European countries have been developing their strategy that we brand ourselves as a cheap labor country. Branding yourself as a cheap labor country is a very short-sighted policy. Business parks can be developed where very low added value, let's say telemarketing or telecommunication activity can be outsourced to, with huge demand for employees. They are being trained to do that. But in a couple of years, with changes in global type of activities, it's very easy to relocate that business to another activity, to another location. Right? So the way we see that is that financial services, which are providing very high value added, because they can be sold to high value individuals primarily. It's a huge volume business. It's not a saturated market. That's the market that can be developed. It also provides the reach. You can provide these services, as I said in the beginning, to people in India. You can provide these services in US. And as your sons, they established a company in US. They can as easily establish a company in Lithuania and be providing the same services. Right? Then the question is, where do you want to be operating and located? You want to be located, co-located with people who are working on similar issues. And we in Lithuania, we have here already a nucleus of companies who are working in very similar areas. We have a global office of Barclays, which is not a fintech company, which is a global bank, but as I said, they have this fintech view. They are very fintech-friendly bank. We have Western Union. We have Danske Bank, which is a Danish bank. In Denmark, they have a very forward-looking payment system, where right now at the shops you can pay with your mobile phone. It's called mobile pay. The app and the infrastructure for this Danish solution is developed right here. So you have 1,500 people sitting here in Vilnius already working there. So you as a newcomer, or let's say a startup, you know already that here there are people in which in one way or another have been exposed to this industry. Okay? Obviously, we are living in a global world and people move. Lithuanians move a lot. Yes. But at the same time, you can attract people. And that's what we hope for. By providing a right perspective, providing a right basis, regulatory basis, support from the government. I didn't talk about that, maybe I should. You can make a valuable proposition that this jurisdiction is very friendly for these type of industries. Because, as I said, we have local problems which we are solving. I didn't talk about the government proposition because, well, I'm not the government representative. But the new government which we have already elected, in their plan, they explicitly said that they want to develop fintech industry in Lithuania. Yeah. There are very few governments around the world which have said it explicitly and set as an objective to do that. So right now, there is a working group in the Ministry of Finance which is drafting propositions that will be implemented and will be put in the government action plan for the next year. So that's maybe what I should have said at the beginning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question.
On the part of fintech that does not involve human contact, how does that work for know your customer regulations, anti-money laundering measures, etc.? I'm sorry.
Yes. So the question from it.
Diane Cohn from American Medicine.
Americans. Straight to the point. Money laundering and know your customer. Right? Huge issue. You could add it, cybersecurity on top of that. Yes. This is new industry. New people have no experience. Even with good intentions, they can lead to bad outcomes. That's why they need oversight and supervision from the regulator. For example, we as a central bank, then we are providing this service that I talked to you about. We implemented a third layer of anti-money laundering and fraud prevention. So when banks deal within each other, there are like two layers of prevention. The sending bank and the receiving bank, they kind of investigate these transactions, but the pipe which is connecting them is a dumb pipe which is not doing anything. Now we superimpose ourselves in the middle, and we hope that then more transactions are passing through us. Having this holistic view of the transactions, we can provide better outcomes in terms of anti-money laundering. That's one. Then you onboard clients remotely. We just changed the regulation in Lithuania, which is allowing financial market participants to do that. It's very important to make sure that you know who's on the other side. But we are living in the digital world right now. So it is as easy for a person to provide you a fake passport, which he bought in Thailand for $5, as it is maybe easy to pretend that you're a different person. But when you're doing things digitally, when you kind of identify the person digitally, you're not only basing your identification on a document, you can base your identification on Facebook profile, plus Google account, plus your passport, plus your ID, plus the database that you connect, social security type of things. So digital identification is even more secure compared to the physical identification where, a physical person at the counter asks you for a document, and that's it. But we acknowledge that this is a risky activity which we should pay a lot of attention to. I hope I answered your question. maybe I should expand a bit on this. Because of the view of the regulators in the United States and the fact that US dollar is the major settlement currency around the world, there's a major issue right now that many central banks have and commercial banks have to deal with right now. It's the demise of the correspondent banking business. What is correspondent banking business? If my client wants to, who is based in Lithuania, and let's say I'm a commercial bank, wants to provide trade activity settlement for two clients, one located in Germany, another one located in India, and they settle in US dollars, I have to provide ability for both clients to have US dollar account. I'm based in Lithuania, Eurozone, Central Bank of European Central Bank is not providing accounts in US dollars. I need to find a correspondent bank who's providing the pipeline, the connection to location where the dollars are, and that is the Fed. Or one of the banks, commercial banks in US jurisdiction. Now, regulators in the United States, because of increasing awareness of anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist activity, is squeezing the regulation on correspondent banks who are providing these correspondent banking links to the global banks. And what it translates into is that they have to deal with a lot of compliance-related activities so that small jurisdictions like Eastern Europe, Lithuania, and many other countries become unbanked because it doesn't make them any business case to be there. So this is a very global issue that we at the European Central Bank and the Financial Stability Board has even launched this global activity we're trying to solve. Yes, we have to deal with anti-terrorist activities. We need to make sure that people are not able to launder their money. But if one jurisdiction is able to affect global activities for trade, it's going to lead to other solutions, which maybe are suboptimal. Okay? So you really touched a very important subject, which is not only important in Lithuania, which is very important globally. Settlement in US dollars.